PECT test. Scientific investigation skills. Question number 1. This illustration best exemplifies what key scientific concept in data gathering and observation. Precision refers to how close multiple measurements of the same question are to each other. In other words, precision gets at how repeatable an experiment is, and since with no changes in variables, the same results should occur. Which of the following is least likely to be useful in gaining knowledge on a specific scientific topic? Performing the same experiment multiple times with a different hypothesis in the same experiment is performed multiple times without any change in any of the variables, the same results are likely to occur. So once those results have been recognized, different or varied experiments need to be conducted to learn more. Knowledge can also be gained by reading about prior results and communicating with others and proving a hypothesis to be true. Sir Isaac Newton is credited with formulating three laws of motion. That is, Newton was a mathematician, physicist, and one of the foremost intellectuals of modern times. He is responsible for many great discoveries and scientific advance and including the invention of the telescope, calculus, and laws of motion and gravity. First law of motion deals with the concept of inertia. Second law of motion explains acceleration. The third law of motion states that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. In scientific experimental design, which of the following predicts that the independent variable will not have an effect on the dependent variable as a means of eliminating bias? So that is the null hypothesis. So that is the manipulated during the experiment will not have an effect on the dependent variable, and which is what is being measured. Null hypothesis is presumed to hold true until experimental results disprove it. At that time, an alternative hypothesis would probably be proposed and tested. When demonstrating the use of a solvent in the classroom, the teacher should make sure to store it in a metal cabinet because solvents pose a fire hazard. They should be stored in a fire resistant container such as a metal cabinet. During a field trip, students look out the bus window and see the sun's rays refracting on falling rain. What phenomenon are the students observing? A rainbow. Rainbows are created when sunlight rays pass through water. The arc of colors is caused by the refraction or, or bending of light. Students learn about rainbows at an early age. By second or third grade, students will likely be able to explain what causes a rainbow. A second grade science experiment involves the dyeing of flowers based on the hypothesis that flowers will change colors when food dye is mixed with the water that is feeding them. One student suggested trying all three different colors separately instead of one. Is adding more colors a way to make this experiment any more valid? Adding colors would not make the experiment more scientifically valid. The experiment is merely to discover whether it is possible to change a flower's color with dye. Adding or changing the color would not affect the outcome of the experiment. However, since the hypothesis is about flowers in general, it would be useful to attempt the color experiment on several kinds of flowers. In contrast to compound microscopes, stereo microscopes have, that is, two eyepieces. Stereo microscope use two eyepieces to produce a three-dimensional visualization of the image being studied. Stereo microscopes do not feature any audio component and actually have a superior depth of field when compared to the other traditional compound microscopes. In a scientific experiment on obesity, the scientists choose to regulate the percentage of monosaturated fat for the individuals being studied. When scientists do this, they are controlling what factor in an experiment. Independent variable is one that is manipulated in an experiment or study by, that is the possibly its presence or degree, and it determines the change in the dependent variable, which is what is being measured. In this case, the amount of monosaturated fat is the independent variable, and the weight of the individuals is the dependent variable. This is the last question, guys. In a study of exposed strata, you find a thick layer of limestone resting on the bedrock. Which of the following inference could you logically make based on that finding the area had been? In a study, that is, the limestone is a sedimentary rock. What kind of rock? That is sedimentary rock and formed from the shells and bones and waste deposit of sea life. So that is the so guys, that's all for today. Thank you for watching.